This is the plaintiff, Preston Wakefield, owner of a swanky Hollywood Hills mega mansion. He says he rented it to the defendant, who let her rowdy pals trash the place. This is the defendant, Bree Valentina. She calls Preston a creepy old perv who gatecrashed her party, hit on her friends, and called the cops after getting booted. Permanent judges Anush Hakimi and Peter Shariari are joined by guest judge, Judge John Braun, a born and raised Texan and cattle rancher who is just as comfortable grabbing a steer by the horns as he is tackling complicated legal issues.
The honorable judges are presiding. You may be seated.
Good afternoon, folks. I want to congratulate you on electing to come to the court of maximum justice. Some people seek peace, some people seek litigation. You, on the other hand, sought the only venue where you could literally punch the other party in the face. For that, we salute you. Welcome. Mr. Wakefield, you are the owner of what can best be described as a Hollywood Hills mega mansion. It is undisputed amongst the two of you that the house is quite notorious for having lavish Hollywood parties. You claim that you rented the house to the defendant, Ms. Valentina, for one night for her to host a party, and that she and her guests caused considerable damage to your house.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Ms. Valentina claims they didn't cause damage, that you, in fact, breached the rental agreement by crashing the party, hitting on her friends, causing a scene, and then when you were asked to leave, she claims that you called the LAPD and caused the party to be shut down. She's also throwing in a claim for sexual harassment to boot, and you're also claiming that the defendant defamed you on social media. So, Mr. Wakefield, why don't we start with you? Why don't you tell us what's going on, sir?
Well, Your Honor, on the night in question, it's true I rented her the house for the party. The party commenced. At some point in the evening, I showed up at the property to make sure everything was going all right. And I initially met resistance from her security guard at the front gate. I had to contact her directly to even get into the house. Eventually, I found that there was damage when she left, as you mentioned. The Whirlpool jets were broken. There was a designer couch that was ripped. There was another piece of furniture that had been stained with glitter and alcohol. So they didn't, and she provides a security deposit to cover this type of thing. So, at some point, the police were called, I believe, and because of the noise level, it was incredibly loud. The neighbors were complaining. And in addition to that, she was also in violation of part of the rental agreement. Number 9 of the rental agreement specifically talks about abiding by parking restrictions, and the police reported.
Do you have a copy of the rental agreement?
I do. Would you like to see it?
Of course.
You want the entire agreement or just the part
The
I'm
whole
referring?
thing, please.
Okay, sure. Here you go.
Madam Bailiff. Thank you. And you say Section 9 of the rental agreement?
Correct. There's a clause in it that says something about abiding by parking restrictions.
There's nothing about parking restrictions in Section 9.
It doesn't say something about parking?
No.
May I see it again? I'm sorry. I thought clearly it said something about that.
Yeah. There's nothing in Section 9 about the parking. Okay. While you look through that, why don't you tell me, do you have any evidence of the damage that you claim Ms. Valentina and her guests caused?
No, Your Honor, I do not have pictures
Did
of
you
that.
do a pre-rental inspection with the defendant?
Yes, I do.
You did do that? Did you do a post-rental inspection with the defendant?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. What evidence do you have that anything was actually damaged other than your own testimony?
Anyone can see the property and see clearly that there's damage to the things I mentioned.
Was there something out of the ordinary that prompted you to show up at the property that night?
Just the noise level.
Okay, how can you tell what the noise level was? Were you outside?
No, well, eventually, but the neighbors, there were complaints and you could hear it for blocks away.
Were you blocks away?
I was in the neighborhood, yes.
You were in the neighborhood for what reason?
Just personal dinner.
Where were you having dinner? In the Hollywood Hills.
I can't remember the name of the restaurant that night. It might have been Musso and Frank because I frequently go
That's
there.
not in the Hollywood Hills, sir.
Okay. But it's still, it's in the adjacent
thank
area.
you, Mr. Wakefield. Miss Valentina, let's hear from you.
So, as he already stated, he showed up at the place unannounced, which does, in fact, go against our renter's agreement. And it's actually Section 5 that it states that. And I can give that to you right now. It states that he can't show up unannounced unless we've already talked about it. He showed up, tried to get in. Of course he can't get in without a ticket to get in. That's the whole point of having them. Then, when he bursted past my security guard, mind you, he told me he was in the house. I received his message. I let him know I was coming. He was extremely rude, saying that my security guard was rude to him when I'm renting his property and he has no reason to be there. He continued to stay around the property and talking to the other girls that were there. Mind you, they're all in their like 20s. I don't even know what that was about, but asking to show them to the rooms, which of course they're gonna find that uncomfortable. They're young, and here he is bursting into my party.
How did it end with you guys that night?
Well, he showed up at the house, let me know that it was too loud, and I had already asked the DJ to turn it down. I think it was like 7:30-ish I asked him to turn the music down a little bit. I asked him to turn it down, and he did, and then he shows up saying that it's too loud and blah, 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 and then I let him know that I already turned it down, and then he just stormed out angry after that.
Okay, so you didn't actually kick him out. He left on his own.
Yes.
Okay. And then I understand the police were called at some point in the night?
Yes.
Okay, what happened with the police?
They showed up, said that the music was too loud and that we had to shut the party out, and I had to get everyone out, and I had to do that in the next like 10 minutes.
Was an investigation report issued?
I think so. I have the form.
Mr. Wakefield, while she looks for that form, why did you think it was okay for you to show up at the property without paying for admission to this highly exclusive party?
Because I own the property. It's my house.
But aren't you giving over the use of the house to the renter when you sign a rental agreement?
Yes, but
Thank
under
you.
reasonable circumstances, and this was not reasonable circumstances. The music was excessively loud. There were complaints. The police were called, and
This is like a chicken and an egg question for me. I don't understand how you knew the music was loud before showing up there.
because I was in the area and I could hear it. You could hear it for blocks away, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. I'm going to turn to your defamation claims. You claim that Ms. Valentina said some defamatory things about you on social media. What evidence of that do you have?
I have screenshots of the texts, if you'd like to see them.
Screenshots of text messages between you and her is not defamation. It's statements that she would make to third parties.
Okay, well, there were also, in the text, there are people talking about, there are posts on, I believe it's on Facebook, about people talking about saying
I'll take a look at
derogatory
those.
things about me.
Okay, hand them over.
Presumably these
Thank
are
you.
people who were at the party. I don't know any of these people.
I don't see any statements from the defendant here.
No, I don't believe there is anything from her directly.
Okay. I have no questions for the moment.
Mr. Wakefield, the questions, many of them have related to why you came to the house. You say you own the place, but apart from that, there's no really, I was asking myself, why would he show up? Maybe you do catering on the side. Maybe you were a DJ, you wanted to put some tunes on, maybe you're a go-go dancer. I don't know why you went there, but you do know that people, they expect to rent a place and be able to play music, perhaps have a party. This is part of the deal. That's why they're paying you money, so that they could do these kinds of things.
I have no problem with their playing music.
Hold
It
on,
is a
let me
party.
ask you a question, Mr. Wakefield. Have you rented to anybody else this house?
Oh, yes, of course.
How many different customers for rent do you think you've had?
Oh, numerous times.
Numerous, 5?
Yes, it's
50?
no, much more than that. It's I
500?
rent it constantly.
500?
Something close to that,
Okay.
yes.
And on how many of those occasions did you come back to, quote, make sure everything was all right? Those are your words.
I check on the property from time to time just to make sure that
Everything
nothing
is all right.
Yeah, that nothing's going.
Nothing's.
I don't want them destroying my house.
Well, but how could you tell that from the outside? You couldn't
Well,
really.
sometimes you can tell when they're throwing things out the window or something.
Did you see anybody throwing things out the window?
No, not in this case.
Did you have fun at the party?
I wasn't there that long.
But
so
did you have fun even a little bit?
I don't know if I would call it fun.
Did you have anything to drink?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, not that
Maybe
night.
a little bit. Well, some. No. You spoke to some people, huh? How many people did you speak with on the night, apart from
Maybe six
6?
different people there,
And
including the security guard.
Okay. And apart from the security guard, the people you spoke with, men or women?
Women, I think, mostly women.
Have you ever, Ms. Valentina, have you ever lived next to somebody who had let their place out to Airbnb?
I don't think so.
You're damn right you don't think so, because if
Yeah.
you did, you'd understand what this guy's saying. Because I have. And I know people, when they rent a place, they think that gives them carte blanche, that's French, to do whatever they want. To be loud, to throw things out the window.
No one was throwing things out the window.
But you know what I'm saying is, perhaps, was there a portion of you that thought maybe I should turn the music down?
Yes, that's why we did.
How many people do you think came to the party?
A couple hundred.
A couple of hundred.
It's a big
Oh,
house.
It's a big, how many square feet is it?
I wouldn't know off the top of my head. I think it's somewhere near 30,000.
30,000 square feet. Well, you're like the Great Gatsby of Hollywood then. Okay, now I see what's
It's a
going on.
very nice house.
I bet. But at the end of the day, she did pay to rent the place out.
Correct.
And part of that deal is to, within reason, do what she wants. If there is noise that is bothering a neighbor, it is the neighbor's claim, not yours. So that is something to consider as well. Okay, no further questions.
Judge Braun?
Well, first of all, it sounds like, Mr. Wakefield, you have this wonderful, huge palace, and you rent out to people that promote and throw parties like that. Frankly, from where I sit, I'm just stunned that you're shocked that a party would break out. And frankly, partner, that dog don't hunt. Don't make sense to me at all. Y'all are blaming each other. Sounds like you're maybe a little bit miffed that you weren't invited to the party or whatever. And
No, not at all.
sounds like it.
No. I mean,
And I have to ask, so you said you were in a neighborhood and you heard the music.
correct.
It was that loud. So you went to the house to check on your property, see how things were going. And the music wasn't loud. You said it was loud.
Oh, absolutely. You could hear it from blocks away.
And how long were you there before you left?
Maybe an hour at the most.
So the music was that loud and
Right.
you were there for an hour. Did you complain to Miss Valentina about the music within that hour that you say you were there?
Yes, I told her it needed to be turned down. The noise restrictions start at 10 o'clock, but I was there after 10 o'clock and it was still incredibly loud.
And during that time, you socialized.
I talked to some of the guests. Yes,
So
they
during that time, that hour and a half while you were socializing, the music wasn't an issue to you.
Well, yes, the music was an issue. I thought it was a problem. It wasn't my job to handle it in that particular time frame. I'd already complained to her, and she didn't seem to be overly concerned.
Ms. Valentina, I want to better understand your sexual harassment claim.
Yes. He already sent over the messages, so I'm not the only one that feels this, but I also have some of my own messages directed to me where he was very inappropriate, calling me names such as sugar puss, which is just disgusting. And then
we
also,
haven't seen those. Let me see.
And then consistently asking me out for dinner when the only reason I was messaging him was because I wanted my money.
It seems like she's seeking to get her deposit back. Tell her it's a perfect bikini day in Malibu. And when she says she's not going to come, you say, you're lost sugar puss. Is that all accurate, Mr. Wakefield?
Well, I guess it is. It's in the text. But, I mean, no one seems to be able to take a joke anymore. It's just these things were casual remarks I was making. They weren't meant to mean anything. This has all happened since the whole Me Too movement. It's like you can't make jokes anymore.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wakefield. Did you provide Ms. Valentina the 21-day itemized accounting for the security deposit?
Yes, I did.
You did? That hasn't been admitted into evidence. Do you have it?
No, I don't have it here.
Did you receive that accounting, Ms. Valentina? He kept the whole $10,000 deposit. Did he provide you a written accounting of that?
No, he just told me which things were broken and why I wasn't going to receive it back.
He didn't give you anything in writing?
No.
He didn't tell you what cost what and why he was keeping the entire 10 grand?
I have a list of the 3 things, but not their prices and not anything about exactly what it is or anything like that. Hold on, I have it here somewhere.
It was the couch, the jacuzzi, and the rug.
Which we didn't even use
you're
the
supposed to
jacuzzi, by
provide
the way.
her an itemized list. That's the law. Okay, I've taken a look at this police report.
Mm-hmm.
There is a description of someone that the police encountered, somebody that matches your description. Did you talk to the police?
No, I did not.
You didn't?
No.
Did you place any phone calls to the police?
No.
Because she's claiming that you called the police.
How would she know that? Of course I didn't call
Because
the
who
police.
else would call?
Remember, you're under
the
oath,
neighbors.
Mr. Sugarpuss.
I did not call the police. I mean, I don't know how she thinks she would know who called the police. It's only in the police report. But it wasn't me. It was one of the neighbors. The neighbors were upset about the noise level.
Okay. Ms. Valentina, do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so.
Judges, any more comments?
No, I think it's been said.
Okay. We're going to take a brief recess and deliberate. We'll be back shortly.
All rise. You may be seated.
Well. We have a pervert loose, it seems.
He's definitely barking up the wrong tree.
He's like Don Knotts and Mr. Roper crossed with the Night Stalker, crossed with the guy from 1 Hour Photo.
You are dating yourself, that Night Stalker?
Yeah, Richard Ramirez. No, he was a little bit stocky.
Do you guys take a look at these text messages that he sent?
I do.
Let me, let's take a close look at this. This guy is so offensive in so many ways. He's a hassa. He's a pig that don't fly straight. It's insane that he would talk to a young lady like this. First of all, he shows
First
up.
of all, we don't know that she's a lady.
I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt and assume that she's a lady.
Okay.
All right. He shows up at the party. He demands to be let in. She comes and gets him, and he says, "Your security is very rude." Yada yada yada. The next day, FYI, not a smart move last night. This can be a very small town, if you know what I mean.
I wonder what he means.
It's very threatening.
Yeah.
Right? It gets worse. He says, you crammed all these people in my house. And then he says, cars were parked illegally, I might add, up and down Mulholland. Girly. Okay? He calls her sugar puss.
Technically, it was for him.
The reality of it is this guy's just wildly, wildly offensive.
And this is after the fact.
This is after the fact.
Yeah, that's even more bizarre. It's in the contract that he stay clear.
Right.
I think he still thinks, I'm going to show up, I'm going to mingle, I'm going to circulate, pour a few drinks, make some connections, as I've allegedly or possibly done before.
He came into the courtroom. I wanted to pepper spray him as soon as he came into the courtroom.
You know, you look at what she's doing, right? $5,000 to rent the house for the night.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at this flyer, she was making what appears to be a ton of money. That's a good business. This is a good businesswoman. So let's talk about generally these types of issues. Older guys, predatory behavior.
Right.
Is his behavior unreasonable? Do we have to look at it from his perspective, or do we look at it from the reasonable?
Assuming he's not dying?
Assuming he's not dying.
Assuming
Yes,
he's
give
not
that.
dying.
Give that.
I can see his perspective, but it's not reasonable business-wise or contractual. It's not reasonable.
Despite the fact that he's making a tremendous amount of money off of this property, he doesn't understand boundaries. When you have a renter, they're entitled to sole possession of the property
But I
that
asked
night.
them and they let me in.
Right. No, actually, he demanded to be let in. And you could see that the security was trying to keep him out. So he wants to have his cake and eat it too.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want
He wants to
people-
finger the cake is what he wants to do.
If you don't want people in your property, then don't rent it out.
He wants the people on the
Well,
property.
that's another thing.
That's
I
how he
don't-
dates.
I don't believe that this guy, it's not the first time he's rented the property out, so he knows what goes on. He
Right.
knows there's going to be a hell of a lot of people and
Yeah.
traffic and women and girls and alcohol. It's every vice you can think of. It's a good time. This
Yeah.
isn't the first rodeo for him. This guy's done it before. He's gotten away with it, in my opinion, before, and he just thought he could do it again, and he just happened to run across maybe a young lady that had a little bit more business acumen, if you will, a little bit more
Chutzpah.
yeah, and he bumped heads with her. And then he basically hitting on her. Get your bikini, come out to, Malibu.
My honor, he didn't say get your bikini. He said it's a great bikini day. He could have been talking about himself. Did you see him? He was a B cup at
If
least.
seeing him in a bikini would be stuff of nightmares, in my opinion.
So maybe that's appropriate.
All right, let's move on to the police report. The one thing that stuck out to me is in her complaint, she's making the allegation that it's him who contacted the police. She may actually be onto something. She doesn't have direct evidence of this, but let me tell you what the responding officer wrote. Approached by an elderly white male, approximately 65 to 70 years of age, white hair, balding, who refused to ID himself, claimed to be a neighboring resident, and reported ongoing loud music all evening, along with observed marijuana use on the street. So it doesn't say it here, but I think it's that guy. I asked him, why were you in the neighborhood? And he said he was at Russo and Frank's,
Yeah.
Yes.
which is nowhere near
No,
Mulholland Drive.
No.
way down the hill on the
Exactly.
boulevard.
And I don't think they would have let him in Musso Franks anyway.
You have to go out, find yourself a tie, find yourself a shirt.
That shirt was 8 sizes too small.
He needs to take some of that money he makes renting out these properties and go down to Mo Ginsburg and get him a nice suit made. Not just show up the way he did, because that was a slap in the face. That's offensive to the bench itself. I still look at people and I see whether or not they show respect for the venue.
He
and,
was
and to the bench.
underdressed for a Denny's. The guy looked like he was about 148 years old. And
I'd hate to think that he's had some success in the past doing this.
Does Viagra even work after 120 years old?
I have no idea.
Does it even work? I have to put it in my milkshakes. I take it orally still. 4 of them with Cialis.
So this isn't the only property that this guy has. He's got multiple other properties.
He came in there not just as some guy. This is my house. I mean, people are curious. You always see decrepit 400-year-old guys on the street with like a Lamborghini. No matter what, the girls are going to come up.
Yeah.
Guys are going to come up. And even the dogs come up. They want to see what's going on. You know, what is this car? Who's this guy? And this spectacular house. And who knows what he told the poor security guard outside. It's a power thing.
This is the type of guy who would come in his members-only leather jacket and, his little hat on and his convertible parked out there. And you can look at him and everybody thinks, who is this old guy? Who's this? Somebody's grandpa's in here. And then all of a sudden he's like, hey, I own this house. Hey, can I get you a drink? And starts playing that whole game. And it's probably worked for him in the past. it's as obvious as the nose on your face, so to speak.
This guy,
Douchebag, if you want to use that
that's
term.
the perfect. That's the perfect term for him. That's the perfect legal term. This guy's a douchebag.
More like a scumbag. A little bit.
Well, a scumbag.
I don't know. 100%. He's just trying to use his wealth and power to take advantage of this young lady and all of her friends.
Apparently, he doesn't have the power.
Well, he didn't have enough power to get past the security guard without getting on a cell phone and whining like a little bitch.
Yeah. And she wasn't having it, and that's
Right.
why we're here.
There's a right way and a wrong way of doing things. He has no suavemente. In addition to embarrassing himself, he made a lot of other people feel uncomfortable. Something did occur to me. This guy came to court. I mean, he's clearly a multimillionaire, but he's dressed like a bum. Explain that to me. I don't get it.
I don't know if he's a multimillionaire. I don't know. But as he said, he does own property. That's a sizable house, 10,000 square foot or whatever the hell it was. And he owns other properties. So obviously he's got money. But I'm big on how people present themselves, and whatever venue you happen to be at, whether it's in church or in court of law or whatever, you dress the part.
Does this guy strike you as someone who's happy and content in life?
Yes, he seems very well balanced.
I'm having to think about that ever since he was a teenager. You know what I mean? He's been this kind of personality. He's grown into it. I guess luckily for him, he fell into the resources financially to perpetuate this activity as he's gotten old and crusty and nobody hell wants to fucking deal with him. You know what I mean?
You don't rent houses out to try and get women. Maybe as like a teenager we would do stuff like this, but it's hard to imagine somebody after 40 or 50 still having that fire to go out there and do these shenanigans.
I think it's an addiction.
Maybe.
It's a way of life.
Do you think this is more about him wanting to get laid or to get close to someone? Maybe to have intimacy, or is this more about a power trip?
I think it's a power trip, 100%.
I think the guy's trying to get laid. I mean, the power trip, the money to be made, that's all secondary. I think he's wanting to get laid. That's the cake, and the icing is just whatever the money he's making.
That may be true.
And everything else. That's what I think, because that's the first thing a guy does.
Is so awkward and stupid. This is the only way he doesn't know there's Tinder. There's a bar.
What's going to happen on Tinder for somebody who looks like Mr.
All
Burns?
He has to do is
he looks like fucking Mr. Burns over here.
I'll tell you right now. All he has to do is put one number, 30,000 square feet.
Yeah.
That's all he has to do.
Yeah.
Put him in front of that house and put a car, and he's going to have a cavalcade of women.
But that's why I tend to think that this is more about a power trip, because if it's his house, he could go around and he's not that awkward weirdo. Right. This is my house.
That's his chip.
Yeah.
Well, hey, lady, how you doing? Hi, sweetie. And they're all like, get away from me, creepy old fuck, that type of thing. Hey, this is my house. This is my property. And then you watch how many heads turn. Oh, really? Oh, it's wonderful property or whatever, because there's going to be, they go blind. They overlook the obvious. Look, there's a major celebrity right now. The guy's 86 years old, and he's been dating a 25-year-old Victoria's Secret model, Tony Montana.
Pacino.
Yeah, Pacino. And she finally sobered up, I suppose, looked in the mirror, and she gave an interview, and she said straight out, look, when all's said and done,
she didn't want those wrinkled balls.
He's an 86-year-old man, and there's only so much mechanics and chemicals out there, and regardless of that.
Did she say that?
No.
But something has been bothering me about this case. The whole plan from the beginning was for him to come there and hit on these girls and sort of introduce himself.
He just wants to get those young people in there,
right?
Forces his way in,
right,
and then get down to some naughty business later on in the night.
But he also knows that these types of parties, what they attract, who they attract.
I kill two birds with one stone.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was this noise complaint nonsense that he heard the noise and he came over. It's complete bullshit.
He was injected like a virus.
He heard the noise while he was at Musso and Frank's?
Right. You heard the noise from like 10 miles away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
So that's bullshit.
I'm going to go investigate
so
that.
that doesn't make sense, right?
That
so
could be
we've
my
eliminated
property.
that possibility.
Yeah. And when you see how many people come out of the woodwork once something like this hits the fan, and all of a sudden it's like it could be any other celebrity, whether it be a Cosby or whatever, then you got people like, well, 40 years ago,
Right.
This happened to me, and why didn't you say anything then? The thing is, these things have been going on all along, just like what he's doing. He's been doing this all along.
You need that first lawsuit.
Yeah.
That first lawsuit is...
That's the crack in the dike.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
And then they come flooding out.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to get a piece of that pie. So, everybody just comes to the table. They want to get a taste.
This did not have the desired outcome for him. The girls at this party rebuffed him.
They were repulsed by him.
And they were repulsed by him.
Yeah.
So is this a generational thing, or was this what happened specifically at this party?
Maybe he's one of those guys who likes girls who vomit on him. Maybe that's what he was looking for. I'm going to show up and induce it.
There's a .com in there somewhere.
Do you need me to come fix your kitchen sink? I'll be there in 5 minutes.
We all agree he's repulsive.
And vile.
And vile.
Should we report him to somebody? I don't know. Do we have any obligations? In light of what we've seen?
He hasn't done anything to rise to that level.
Well, the fashion police, at least we have to call.
He is certainly contemptible, and he's
deplorable.
Deplorable.
He's condemnable.
Yeah. Difficult to deal with, I'm sure. We're going to have an insight as to whether he could work out his problems shortly. The question is, who's in the right when it comes to the legal mechanics of the case? They both breached. Did her breach result in any damages to him? Right? The breach, in my opinion, with respect to her, has to do with the parking, Section 9, that he correctly pointed out. And I was wrong initially when I told him that it wasn't in there.
Was there a police report charging him with disorderly conduct for what he was wearing?
No, but there should have been. There should have been. They kind of both crossed the line with what they were supposed to do.
The damages that he claimed, the jacuzzi and the chips and all, if they had done a walkthrough again, he's done this before. And she made the statement that the party hadn't even gotten off the ground, let alone anybody getting into the pool or the jacuzzi, and that was probably already there. But you're never going to know that, whether it was or whether it wasn't.
He's got a burden issue, and he hasn't presented any evidence regarding the actual damages that he's claiming.
So she's left to defend herself by simply claiming, hey,
It's testimony at this point. Her testimony versus his testimony regarding the damages.
I think this is just mudslinging. He claims something, hell, she throws something else at him. She's done this before, and so has he. It's not the first rodeo for both of them.
We've talked about the breach issue.
There's breaches, and then there's major breaches.
Right.
So this was a material breach.
Well, he showed up and he destroyed the party.
He destroyed the party. He came in like a worm. And, you imagine somebody serves you, you order, go to a restaurant, you order a steak. But let's say they bring you the steak and there's a giant worm in the middle of the steak and the worm's shirt doesn't fit. So that's not, good enough, as Gordon Ramsay would say. So you could send that back. I think she could send this back.
I think we're all kind of on the same page when it comes to the outcome of this case.
Yeah.
Should we get back in there and let these folks know what we think?
Yes.
All
just
right,
avert your eyes.
Remain seated. Come to order.
Ms. Valentina, Mr. Wakefield, the court has fully deliberated and come to a verdict on all claims and counterclaims. Before we announce that we're going to give you guys one last chance to informally resolve this matter amongst yourself. This is actually my favorite part of this whole experiment of the court of maximum justice. You will see that I'm holding 2 envelopes in my hand. Inside each of these envelopes is a card. On that card are written the words, punish and forgive. The bailiff is going to escort the 2 of you to the courthouse jail. The 2 of you will have 5 minutes to meet and confer with each other, to discuss the case. After that 5 minutes, you will return and you will make a selection privately on the card. And you will hand it to us. I urge you to consider what has happened in the court thus far. If you believe in the merits of your case, then it would be in your best interest to convince your opposition to see the case the way you do. If you don't believe in the merits of your case, this is a good opportunity to ask for forgiveness. Do you understand the rules? One more thing I want to tell you. We have reached a verdict on all claims and counterclaims. Nothing you say in there is going to have any impact on our decision. We're not even going to know what you guys are talking about. Okay? It's confidential. It's between the two of you. It's in there. It's not going to impact our decision making. Our decision has already been made. This is entirely between the two of you. Understood? Madam Bailiff, please escort the plaintiff and the defendant to the courthouse jail.
Right this way.
Mr. Wakefield, you are here now at the prisoner's dilemma. It is where you must make a choice between punishment or forgiveness. You have no right to remain silent. Everything you say and do will not be held against you in court. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will not be appointed to you whatsoever. So, here is where you either lean into your claims or maybe take a step back and consider the other person's view. Now, it could work out badly for you if you make the wrong choice. It could work out to your benefit if you make the correct choice. Whether punishment or forgiveness is the correct choice is unclear. So tell us what your thoughts are, Mr. Wakefield. What are you thinking you want to do? What do you want to tell her? What do you want to get across?
Well, I believe in everything I said. It's one of my pet peeves that my property is used sometimes and the rules aren't followed. And some people have no boundaries about noise and respect for the neighbors. And I've had this problem other times in the past on my personal property, not with this house. And it's infuriating.
You mean you have other houses too on top of the 30,000?
Well, I have my private residence.
Well, how many thousands of square feet is that?
A couple of thousand. It's much smaller.
Wow, that's quite a 30,000 square foot house. What are you doing there when there's no parties?
Well, it's
like football. What do you do?
It's an investment. I don't use it.
Okay. Now, have you rented it out recently to anyone?
You mean since this happened? Yes.
So what do you want to do to her? She's going to come in here right now. She's going to talk to you. What do you want to communicate with her about?
Well, I think that she needs to realize that there are consequences to her actions, and there needs to be some kind of responsibility involved, and a respect for other people's property and respect for other people's boundaries.
Yes, respect of boundaries is, I understand, it's very important. Well, best of luck to you, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, Sugar Puss. Ms. Valentina, you're here at the moment of truth, the prisoner's dilemma, where you can either choose to punish or to forgive. Now, I know you must be angry. I know you spent a lot of money, and probably there was some embarrassment on your part. What do you want to tell Mr. Wakefield? What do you want him to understand?
I want him to understand that it's not okay to be talking to people so much younger than him at a party that he wasn't invited to. I think that's disgusting. I think it's predatory. And he was using his house to make it seem like it was okay for him to talk to these girls, which was unprompted and unwelcomed. I also want him to understand that if he's gonna have a place to have a party, to have loud music, if that's what his investment is for, then he should understand that it's gonna have loud music, and he's probably gonna have to get over that, because I'm not gonna be the last person to do it.
I understand what you're saying. Now, he's gonna come in here and you're gonna have an opportunity to speak with him and to really have a dialogue. I would invite you to try and see it from his perspective, because that often helps us in life, generally speaking. Okay? All right, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Proceed to the jail cell. We'll see you in 5 minutes.
So,
So,
I don't know what you want me to say.
Bree, you know, you need to just admit that you were wrong.
I wasn't wrong. I
Of
didn't
course
do
you
anything.
were. You think you're allowed to have these loud parties like this?
Yes, that's why I rented the property.
Yes,
that's
and
why
you signed an
have it.
agreement.
I signed
You
an
signed an
agreement to
agreement
turn it
not
down
to-
at 10, and that's what I did. At 9:45,
No.
music was down.
The police
Yes.
came at 10:30.
Oh,
and
I
that
wonder
was
why the police came.
I mean, you have to take some responsibility for the fact that the neighbors were complaining. The noise was way out of control.
Okay, so then why didn't the neighbors come talk to me? Also, I don't even understand why you won't give me my money
Probably
back.
because they thought you wouldn't listen.
Oh, yeah, because they totally know me. But that's not even what I'm upset about, okay? I'm upset about the fact that you haven't given me my $10,000 deposit back yet. And you can talk all you want about your furniture and your carpet and your jacuzzi, which we didn't even use. But until I have receipts and until I have pictures, I'm gonna keep demanding my money back.
You destroyed my property.
No,
and you have
I
to
didn't.
pay for that. That's what the deposit is for.
Okay, but none of the people that were at my party were even drunk enough by then to be throwing up alcohol all over your
It
stupid
doesn't matter.
couch.
If you damage the property, you don't know who did it.
But it
and
wasn't damaged.
Of course it was damaged. What
Not
are you
from
Are
me.
you crazy?
It wasn't damaged from me.
The
It was
jacuzzi
already
jets
there.
were broken.
Not
The-
from me, because we didn't use it.
Oh, please. You expect me to believe that nobody from this party got into the jacuzzi?
Yes, it was literally, the cover was still on it when the police showed up.
They were wearing bikinis. You think they wouldn't
I
use the
wonder how you
jacuzzi?
know that they were wearing bikinis then.
What, like I don't have eyes? Of course I know they were what they were wearing. I was there.
Yeah, looking for the ones in the bikinis after you stormed off
That's
after
not
our
true at all.
conversation. Yes, it is.
See, you're like just trying to manipulate this
I'm
whole
not trying to
situation.
manipulate anything.
Yes, you are.
No.
Yes, because that's the kind of person you are.
Okay, I'm done.
Welcome back, folks. I heard it was quite contentious in there. There was fireworks and not the good kind. So, sorry to see that it seems like you couldn't work out your dispute. However, we don't know, right? You will see in front of you are your envelopes of fate. Please go ahead, privately select whether you seek to punish or forgive your opposing party. Okay, put it back in the envelope and hand it to the bailiff. Madam Bailiff, would you be so kind? Thank you. Thank you very much. You will have noticed that we also have another visitor in the courtroom. The Wheel of Justice. Judge Peter, care to say a few words about the Wheel of Justice?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Wheel of Justice. Something that is unique to the court here. We have had a team of craftsmen create this wheel, which represents various types of punishment from ancient to modern times. The wheel will spin round and round. Where it goes, nobody knows. But one thing is for sure, it will be entertaining.
Madam Court Reporter, please bring the Wheel of Justice front and center. If you would kindly please give it a nice firm spin. Okay, Madam Court Reporter, what punishment did it land on?
Rotten tomato.
Rotten tomatoes. Wow. Judge Peter, care to explain?
It's very interesting. From ancient times, people would use tomatoes, the ultimate insult fruit, to hit each other. Why tomatoes? We're going to find out today.
Thank you, Judge Peter. We're going to take a brief recess while the punishment station is set up. Thank you, folks. Mr. Wakefield, Ms. Valentina, as you can see, the punishment station has been set up. One or both of you will momentarily be pelted by rotten tomatoes as the entire courtroom shouts loser, which is the standard punishment for this type of case.
Standard.
Before we get to the actual verdict, let's see what you guys chose to do to each other. So, Mr. Wakefield, I'm gonna open your envelope first. Unsurprising that Mr. Wakefield has decided to punish you, Ms. Valentina. And on to Ms. Valentina's. Ms. Valentina has elected to punish Mr. Wakefield as well. So let's get to your claims. I want to first dispense of the claims for which there is a lack of evidence. Mr. Wakefield, regarding your property damage claim, you did not present any evidence to support that claim. There is a burden of proof, a preponderance of the evidence in civil court cases, and you did not meet that. You didn't present any evidence other than your testimony, which is disputed by the defendant. That claim is denied. With respect to your claim regarding the defamation, there are potentially defamatory social media posts that were made by Ms. Valentina's alleged associates. You presented no evidence that she made those statements or that she directed those statements, so that claim is denied. Ms. Valentina, as regards to your sexual harassment claim, this was a business dispute. You entered into a contract, an arm's length contract with a counterparty. He's not your boss. He's not your colleague. He's not your landlord where you live. This was a business transaction. There wasn't that type of relationship where you could have a sexual harassment claim, even though some of the things that he said in the text messages were quite disturbing. That claim is denied. I want to turn to your claims against each other of breach of contract. Mr. Wakefield correctly points out that you did in fact violate Section 9C of the rental agreement by violating the parking provisions. We looked closely at the police report, and the police did not break up the party because of noise. They broke up the party because your guests had illegally parked up and down Mulholland Drive in the Hollywood Hills, causing a tremendous amount of risk to public safety. We find that Ms. Valentina breached her obligations under the terms of the lease. Now, I want to turn to Ms. Valentina's claim that you, sir, breached your obligations under the terms of the lease. Section 5 of the rental agreement says specifically that the landlord is not to enter the premises without the permission of the renter. Now, sir, you showed up at the party unannounced. You refused to pay for a ticket for admission. You created a scene, and ultimately, you left the party. The timing of you leaving the party and the Los Angeles Police Department arriving is, in our opinion, much more than a coincidence. We agree with the plaintiff's allegations that you actually sought to sabotage her party. We do believe that you are the person who contacted the police. We believe you are the person that interacted with the police outside of the property, and that ultimately the property was shut down because of your interference and your breach of the rental agreement. So what we have here is a split verdict. You both breached your duties and obligations under the rental agreement. And since neither of you elected to show mercy to the other, both of you shall be pelted by Rotten Tomatoes by the other party as everyone in the courtroom yells, "Losers." Judgment is so entered. Mr. Wakefield, please step forward. Please take this bowl of Rotten Tomatoes. Ms. Valentina, please step forward. Please. There you go. Okay. Madam Court Reporter, I would advise that you get out of the zone of danger immediately. Ms. Valentina, before we get going, put these on for safety. Mr. Wakefield, do your worst. Oh. There's no professional pitching career for you, sir.
Ooh,
Oh.
good shot.
Alrighty.
Good job, Sergeant Preston.
Now it's your turn to accept your punishment. Do your worst. It's not dodgeball.
Good job. More.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this will conclude our proceedings for the day. The court is adjourned.